Today I have Grizzly64, team captain of In Too Deep. Hey Grizzly64, how's it going?
What's crack-a-lackin'?
How has the season been going so far, and has it been going as planned? Why or why not?
So it's been going as planned standings-wise, I guess. I figured we'd drop some games, so it's pretty surprising that we haven't dropped even one yet.
Who are you expecting to drop games to?
I mean, either your team or Alpha Male Protocol was pretty scary in the preseason, but obviously Ganja Poon didn't play, so...
Didn't you say in the first interview that Big Dick Plays had no chance with the man apart on the team?
That is true. Actually, yeah. At first I saw your roster, and I thought, oh, they're going to be pretty good. And then, remember, we were actually partied up when you added a man apart to your roster, and that's when right. I was like, oh, there you go. That's the downfall.
But do you still think Big Dick Plays is a team that's worthy of your consideration for maybe possibly beating you second half of the season?
Yeah, no, they look good. It's honestly, we should probably practice before we play you. So,
In Too Deep has had a pattern of closing out games in under 13 minutes and being very vocal about it. Are you closing out games in under 13 minutes? Was that a goal before each match, or something you thought about, or has it just happened?
No, it just happens, and it's usually like when we're breaking down the keep, and I'll look at the time, and then I realize it's about to be 13 minutes, and I'm like, go core. Like, we need to finish this. Like, we might as well keep it under 13, yeah?
So is that a goal, say, going for the second half of the season to get all games finished under 13 minutes, or maybe are you going to go under 12 minutes?
Well, I would love one single digit. It would be beautiful. So,
what team do you think you have the best chance to do a single digit game closeout?
I think any team really, it just matters that specific game. If we just, I mean, like, especially if it's like a butcher game and I get the stacks like level 7 or something, you know, there's a good chance that we just roll, and you know, and he's pretty good at burning down the core once he's stacked too. So,
what team or players have been the biggest surprise so far?
Extra Cheese has definitely been a big surprise. Like, they're pretty much just like the laughing stock last season, you know, just watching them play was silly. So this season they're actually formidable, I guess. Like, they're not a joke, that's for sure. I thought it was going to be a little more competitive between like the top teams and the lower teams, so I'm a little surprised how dominant Big Dick Plays has looked.
Yeah, I would say actually some of the matches they're losing heavily in the first half of the game, and then the lack of macro and closeout ability has led them to come back and take games that they should have lost. Even against True Neckbeards, and then even the first half of the Alpha Male Protocol game last Sunday on Battlefield of Eternity, I feel Big Dick Place was losing, and then the other teams had the inability to close out games.
Yeah, well, when we played True Neckbeards, I don't know, Rosai had an amazing interview, by the way. Like, I can't beat that guy. He's so well thought out, you know? Great answers. I know, it was beautiful. I didn't think it was all that close. I think it would have been a much closer game on Tomb if those VPs weren't so unfortunate. But, I mean, I was stacking. We were going to win anyways, but it would at least have been a contest if they would have had that combo correct.
So, who is the Zeratul player making those VPs?
True Mr. Goo. And it's funny because I think during the cast they even mentioned how I always mention how a butcher is a Zeratul counter. Yeah. And you're like, I don't know about that. It's like, no, I mean, you can't do that wormhole bullshit. You know, you try to go in, go out, all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm still charging you. You know, I'm not scared.
In your opinion, are the teams equal? And a follow-up, does every team actually have a chance to win?
Well, obviously not every team. Like, let's be real. I mean, the top three teams could win. I could see any of them winning.
What are the
especially
top 3 teams?
Right now it's us, Big Dick Plays, and Alpha Male. I think, because you never know, Ganja's still on the roster, so maybe he just kicks it. They get into the playoffs. It gets in the later rounds. And then Ganja can be like, oh, you know, I'll step in this game. And all of a sudden they got their full roster that everyone was afraid of in the first place. And then, you know, anything goes.
So you've been pretty vocal about maybe Chew8 playing for a team. Do you think this is kind of borderline type of shenanigans where someone jumps in who's a Masters player at the very end to try and claim glory in victory.
Oh yeah, that was well. It's funny because that was Bush League. Like that was the most Bush League thing I've seen in Bush League,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, I can play, but let's have this, caster GM play for me. It was. I thought, people complain about the integrity of the league with us, and that was like blatant. It's like he's hanging out in the game. I can see Fringe like
Ooh, Fringe.
idle for like 4 minutes. I'm like, oh, so he's there. It's not like idle for hours. No, he was in there, and he just decided not to play. So it was a little ridiculous.
Well, I think he still was involved in the coaching aspect of the team, just not a player.
Yeah, the worst coach ever in Bush League. You can't even coach Chew 8 to a win. Also, with the fairness,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Just play well together. BCKO had plenty of higher level people last season. It didn't matter, So people need to. Oh, it's just their mentality's off. You gotta think positive that you can win, and then you gotta back it up with reality. Like if you think you're gonna win, why are you gonna win? Like you're not just gonna be like, oh, maybe I'll get lucky. No, you gotta practice. You got to look at yourself, go over replays, talk to your team. Communication is key in anything in life, in sports, in games, in work, in relationships. It's all communication. If you have shitty communication, you're not going to succeed. So
do you think that the bottom three teams, which you didn't mention, just have poor communication? Or is there just something else missing? Specifically, those teams are Betty White Otakus, Extra Cheese, and
True Neckbeards. I think Betty White probably doesn't have a chance just skill wise. Like I don't think, even if they got on their game, practiced, all that, I just don't think they could pull it off. The other two teams could at least be competitive. I think putting San on main tank, having True stay on assassin, and all that. Their problem is communication. Like I didn't want to step on toes when I was a ringer, so I just let them do whatever rules they wanted, and I didn't want to shot call either because someone had mentioned that they had shot call, but the communication was non-existent. Like the only time there was any talking was like, are we going to go to this objective? No, stay in soak, or yeah. That was about it. That was all the talking that happened when I was playing for him. And then what was the third team?
Extra Cheese.
Yeah, Extra Cheese. You get UBS Graphic on Diablo. He's actually been, I think last season he was kind of sloppy. Like maybe he wasn't playing as much, or I don't know what it is. But I've played with him sparingly past few weeks, and he seems better. So I could see them being good competition.
One of the team captains have said that In Too Deep has unintentionally alienated the players in the league by stacking the average MMR of their team, leading to stomps. Do you think that's true?
So last season we had the way we made the teams with the hot slogs MMR, and everyone was trying to get as close to that number as possible. Everyone was.
Except one team. One team didn't.
Yeah, except for one team, yeah. But everyone else was trying to max it out. So coming into the next season, you're like, oh, well, we're hiring the ceiling. You can actually have a better team this season. I think I don't know what the thought process was, but maybe it was like, hey, let's get higher quality games. Let's get more people in, because last season, because of the way we did it, a lot of the higher tier players couldn't even sub. So we thought there was going to be more competition, so we want to win. So we tried to get a nice team going. I mean, it's a mix of Gaddy and the Jets from last season, and then we just switched out a few people. And really, we switched them out was just schedules, really. Before, with Gaddy and the Jets, we all worked graveyard, and we really never played together. So this season, we've at least got to play with each other a decent amount.
There's been a claim in Discord, I don't know if it's true or not, that Grizzly is a silver level player. Is that true or not?
Well, that was actually I just clawed out of the silver mines last night. It was beautiful. So I'm in gold right now, but yeah, I mean, you are what your border is, right? I mean, obviously, when I get in the game, I'm not worried about who's on the other side. I'm trying to win, and I mean, I know I'm better than what my rank says, but at the same time, that is my rank, and that's what I am.
One of the things that In Too Deep is known for is the trash talk this season. Some have said that it's a strategy before and during the match, but after the game, it serves no purpose other than straight disrespect. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm trying to entertain people, including myself, and I find it hilarious. I mean, you already know they're mad. Actually, Rosai gave some more good advice. When someone trash talks you, we are looking for a certain response, and that's where our enjoyment comes from. You know, like if I say something to you and you say nothing, I mean, I'm a special case. I'll keep going, you know. But most people, 99% of them, because I know that they know if they say something, then I get satisfaction out of it, and I know they're still being bothered by it, even though they're saying nothing. So I just keep going, you know. Like I'm like, that's all right. You know how to play the game. I respect it, but I'm just gonna keep going on and on and on. But for the most part, when you respond and you start whining or it looks like it's affecting you, then we won.
Has there been any players that come to mind, Pat, the first half of the season, who have responded to it and you know you've gotten under their skin?
Pretty much everyone. I mean, the only person I couldn't get under their skin really was Chew 8, and I'm sure it bugged him, but he's got so many people watching him. You know, I knew it would be hard for us to beat them, and so I was like, all right, well, maybe if I can bait Chew 8 into like trying to shut me up, maybe we could do something, you know, and it didn't work, but it was worth a try. But I don't think there's anyone who just brushed it off, especially right after you lose. And then, like, you get a dig, too. It's like, ooh, it stings, you know? That fucking stings.
So you're saying that there's going to be no pulling back of the trash talk second half of the season. It's actually maybe even going to escalate.
I said in Discord, competition isn't for everyone, and it's not a knock on anyone. You should know yourself and be honest with yourself. If you're not into competition, you know, like if, you know, nowadays in youth sports, there's like this movement to not even keep score. You know, if you're the type of person who thinks that's a good idea, then like it's not for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to sign up, put on your big boy pants, then you got to deal with it. You know, I'm gonna smash you, and I'm gonna let you know that I smashed you. That's how it goes.
Is there any contemplation beforehand on the trash talk, or does it all just come out during the game, like in the moment? Is it so? Or do you like talk within the team, like, you know, Bacon, we're really going to get this one guy to get him tilted? And
no, we're just naturally like. I mean, I'm talking shit to like. We're talking shit to each other the whole time. You know, like playfully. You know, during the game, usually it's a little more serious. But like when we're just like, you know, either, you know, just partied up and teaming or whatever. I mean, we're talking shit all the time. Like that's what we do. So it just comes natural. And actually, I do try to shit talk sometimes, but I always forget to hit tab to do the all talk. So a lot of times I talk shit and it's just to my team, you know? And I'm just like, fuck it. Well, I already typed it out once and I can do it again. So they miss out on some good stuff every once in a while.
Right, last question. Do you have any surprises left for the second half of the season?
I don't know, impress is the right word, but we're definitely trying to entertain. I mean, we had a Bloodlust comp. I heard nothing about it. That was a beautiful Bloodlust comp. I was like, oh, people will love this. Like, double support, Bloodlust. Like, no one goes Bloodlust, right? It's just like, no one does. And I thought, oh, they're going to enjoy that. And didn't hear a peep. And then we did, a hyper carry where I was the only assassin. So, like, we're trying different things to just kind of mix it up where everyone else, like, you see... What's that guy's name? Blasta, that plays like Raynor every single game?
Blasta, yes.
But you see a lot of that where they're just playing the same heroes every game. And I've played, you know, people say I only have like 2 heroes, but I mean, I've been playing a plethora of heroes. So yeah, we're definitely thinking up some funky comps. We're definitely going to try though, because I mean, since the record is perfect, I'd rather keep it perfect, but we're definitely going to be pretty risky. So we'll probably drop a game or two trying some really silly comps. I got one actually that I'm really excited about, but I don't know if I've convinced them to pull it off yet. So
I was under the impression that Schizo does most of the drafting.
Schizo posts, he'll post like we have a channel just for comps. And he'll go into custom games and he'll pick them and then he'll screenshot it. And so we'll just have like 20, 30 messages of just like different comps, and then we'll pretty much be like, "Ooh, I like that one," or "I like that one." And then also once we get like an idea, like, oh, especially like we love doing main tank with heroes that aren't tanks at all. Like that's kind of our fetish. So we're always like, oh, what about this for a main tank? What about this? And then we get in a conversation, and it's like, oh, well, what if we do like all healers? And then we're trying to like come up with which healers would be good in that composition. So yeah, Schizo has the final say. Like we say, oh, what about this? And he goes, that's all right, but if you swap this out for this, I'm good with that. So that's kind of how it works.
Do you have anything that you want to add that hasn't been mentioned already?
Just man up. Enough of the whining and crying. Man up. No one respects someone who says they're not trying. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I wasn't trying, or oh, I knew it was over already. Like, I don't respect that. No one does, and you can't respect yourself if you're doing that. Come on.
Who's been saying that?
That's just kind of the feeling I get in the league,
Yeah.
Like True Neckbeard was saying how. Oh, I don't know. He's saying all sorts of shit. I'm sure he said something along those lines. There's a laundry list of things he's been whining about. So I can't remember them all. But do we play you guys next?
Yes.
Is Scott gonna show up, or has he got like some sort of plans?
Scott has plans.
Oh, of course he does.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, he's scarred from the finals. Like because that's the funny thing is everyone's talking about like showing respect. Like he blatantly pretty much said he didn't respect anyone last season. Like on the podcast, he's like, yeah, I don't respect anyone. I'm just gonna pick my guy and just rape. And then we fucking took him out, and ever since then he's been like a wounded animal. He's just like he doesn't want to relive that nightmare playing against us. So we'll see. Maybe in the playoffs he'll make some time, but I think he's pretty scared, so it may not happen. And then we dismantled True Neckbeards, and we had what? We had Schizo subbing for Blemsy, and we've had to, like, Keys became from a sub to like a full-time player for Loxley because of work. And so this whole narrative where we're just like the stacked team, it just doesn't make much sense to me. Yeah, but no one ever mentions that. It's like, oh yeah, they had Schizo and Key. Schizo, Key, me, Bacon, and Rosai. Like, I mean, it's not super stacked, so people need to just try harder.
Well, thank you, Grizzly64, for your time, and I wish you and the other members of Into Deep the best of luck the second half of the season.
All right, get fucked.